Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Yeah, we're bringing back the console wars with this one. So I've been playing a lot of Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and I've been enjoying it a ton. So much so, it made me wonder why I spent $80 on Mario Kart World. Jokes aside, of course, I felt like comparing the two titles because A, I want to talk about Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and B, I feel it's very important to talk about the two kart racers and compare them. But to make it fair and to make it as objective as possible, I have broken it down into 5 categories: presentation, gameplay, character roster, music, and fun. We're going to talk about each game in each category and rank them based on how well they do in each category and go from there. Starting off with presentation, yeah, I'm probably going to have to give this to Mario Kart World. I mean, when you boot up the game, it literally starts you off in the free roam mode, and the moment you press start, it's a seamless transition right into the gameplay. I mean, there's not much else like that in the gaming industry. Meanwhile, with Sonic Racing Crossworlds, you start off with the key art, you press enter, and boom, you're in the Fortnite lobby. And look, I don't really hate the Fortnite lobby too much, but I've been playing Fortnite for about a decade now, and I really don't need to see that in Sonic Racing of all things. But ignoring title screens and lobbies, I definitely just prefer the UI of Mario Kart World compared to Sonic Racing Crossworlds. It's not even that Sonic Racing Crossworlds UI is that bad or anything. I just feel like Mario Kart World has a theme and aesthetic going for it, whereas Sonic Racing Crossworlds is kind of just a means to an end. I feel like if they tried to incorporate more of the Crossworlds aspect of the game, and they tried to make the UI have more like rings or portals into it to reference the fact that it's all about going between different worlds and collaborating with the different IPs and whatnot, that would really go a long way for helping the game stand out. Moving on to gameplay, however, gameplay is not as cut and dry as presentation. Gameplay, I feel you can make an argument for either of the two, but let's first talk about what each game has to offer first, starting with Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is the traditional Mario Kart experience that you've all come to know and love, and it is refined to a T. If you played a Mario Kart game, you know what to expect, but it is Mario Kart at its absolute best. But a new addition that this game adds in particular is being able to drift in place and jump out of a drift, as well as driving on walls and driving on railings, and it adds a lot of depth to certain levels in the game. You also have a lot of really cool tracks in the game, like Airship Fortress, Rainbow Road, and Toad's Factory that are really fun to race on. Oh, and who can't forget, you also have the open world! Yeah, it's not really that great. Now, I real quickly do want to give credit to the devs who did work on the open world aspect. Monolith Soft also worked on the Xenoblade games, which you guys should totally play. And the open world itself is so well made and technically impressive. That being said, there's just nothing to do in this world. I mean, yeah, sure, you have a bunch of P-switches and medallions to collect, and they're pretty fun. But outside of that, and outside of running around the world with your friends, there really isn't much to do in the open world. I mean, it does act as the backdrop for the intermission tracks as well as Knockout Tour. Knockout Tour especially is a really fun mode, don't get me wrong. It's basically a battle royale where you're racing to compete to be the last one standing, where every racer behind you will slowly get knocked out if they aren't in a high enough position. It is a really fun and addicting mode, don't get me wrong. But if anything, it feels like the open world is more of a detriment to the game than it is a positive. Take, for example, the intermission tracks. Some of them are really fun. The city one to DK Spaceport comes to mind. That one is so freaking fun, as well as the Peach Castle one to Rainbow Road. I think those two are really well done. But outside of those few, a lot of the intermission tracks are so boring. You're just riding across in a straight line. Heck, even the developers have gone on record saying it was a struggle to make the intermission tracks interesting since a lot of the roads are just straight lines with barely anything going on. On top of that, and on top of the fact that there's just barely any content to do outside of the multiplayer, yeah, this is definitely one of the rougher Mario Karts out there. Even crazy as well, the game takes away a few features from some of the previous Mario Kart games. For example, it takes away the kart customization from the previous game. Now, I know a lot of people weren't the biggest fan of it, but it added a lot of customization and uniqueness to each preset. Overall though, Mario Kart World is a pretty dang good time. But compared to Sonic Racing Crossworlds, I mean, who at Sega came up with the monster truck? That is an insane idea. But on to the gameplay of Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Sonic Racing Crossworlds doesn't have this crazy open world or anything. Its main gimmick is the Crossworlds. On the second lap of every Grand Prix or every online race that you do, you will see a portal appear with the option to choose between a pre-selected track or a random track. And some of these random tracks could be tracks that you can't select on the select screen, or it could be tracks from the select screen that are just randomly integrated into the 3-lap race. Because of this, I think it really helps to add replayability and makes it so that every single race you do isn't boring. It always continues to be fun. On top of that, some of these Crossworld tracks also have the chance of having frenzies, and some of these frenzies can do a lot of different things, like giving you random items, giving you level 4 boosts whenever you drift, etc, etc. It's really fun and addicting, and it is yet to get boring. On top of that as well, the general stage selection is amazing. You have a lot of different choices here, and while I may not be the biggest Sonic fan, I do indeed enjoy Kronos Island a lot. Yeah, and it probably also helps that Sonic Frontiers was like one of the only major Sonic games that I've played in recent memory, so, you know, I kind of like it a lot. But onto the general gameplay mechanics as well. I have to admit, while I do enjoy it a lot, I can't help but feel it's a little clunky, if that makes sense. Like, whenever you trick in the air or just trick in general, your cart just kind of 180-degree angles it without really much animation outside of your character and your vehicle. And I have to admit, it's kind of weird. Also, drifting, you kind of either have to fully commit or hesitate. It's not really as forgiving as Mario Kart Worlds, and the drifting is definitely a lot to get used to. Hey, Future Cyanize here. I also wanted to add that I hate that you lose rings every time you touch the wall. I feel like touching the wall is kind of inevitable, especially in multiplayer races where there's so many racers bouncing between each other and you kind of can't really control yourself or prevent yourself from bouncing against the wall. I know there's a gadget that prevents any rings from being lost from hitting the walls, but I still think it's annoying and I'm not the biggest fan of it personally. But outside of that, honestly, the gameplay is just flawless. Oh my goodness, it is so hectic and insane, and I don't know why, but it feels more like a Mario Kart game than actual Mario Kart. These races can get absolutely insane, and honestly, I would argue a lot of the mechanics and whatnot are very unbalanced, as well as the items that you can get from the item boxes. But man, I would argue that's what makes it fun. Because in Mario Kart World, it just seems like the item boxes are a little too balanced. There's a lot of counters for everything. You know, you got to counter for a blue shell, but then somebody sends a ghost at you, and as far as I'm aware, you can't really counter that at all unless you have like armor on. On top of that as well, you can customize your cart and do so many things with it. You can add decals, you can add annoying horns and annoy people on the racetrack. Yeah, I'm getting banned. Oh, and don't even get me started on the gadget system. Oh my goodness. This alone adds so much to this racing game. I can't even begin to start. You can have a gadget that lets you become a Beyblade. You can have a gadget that lets you just spawn with a monster truck right off the rip. Because why the heck not? I am telling you, no single race in this game is exactly the same. There is so much customization to be had, and I think that more than makes up for the fact there isn't really much modes in this game. There's kind of just the main Grand Prix. Oh, and speaking of the Grand Prix isn't anything crazy. It's kind of what you're used to, except for the 4th round. The 4th round basically makes you go through all 3 of the previous stages that you've already been through the Crossworlds mechanic, and I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. Nothing too much to say about that. But the cool thing about the Grand Prix, especially compared to Mario Kart World, is that there is stuff to do in regards to the Grand Prix. Not only is there 5 red rings to collect, making it so that you have to go through and replay the stages to get all the red rings, because, oh, you know, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you collect the red rings? You know, the completionist in you has to get the red rings. They also have this rivals mechanic where all 27 characters in the game, you can have them as your rival, where they will personally make it their mission to make your life a living hell and absolutely throw everything they have at you. But not only does this make the Grand Prix infinitely replayable, but also by doing this, you unlock Supersonic. So it's a great incentive for replaying the Grand Prix over and over. And on top of that, every time you play the Grand Prix, you get a bunch of tickets. And those tickets allow you to buy a ton of things, including carts, horns, decals, friendship with your characters. There are hundreds of things to buy with these tickets in the game, and the Grand Prix gives you so many tickets. On top of the rival system, the red rings, on top of the various difficulties, time trials. Oh my god, I could go on for hours. Can we just give the point to gameplay? Sonic Racing Crossworlds wins in the gameplay aspect, okay? That's not even a hot take. There is so much to do in this game, it's not even funny. Now down to the character rosters, okay? You know, what's the racing game if there's no characters to play? Now, this one can be a bit subjective, of course. You know, if you're more of a Mario fan, you're probably going to prefer Mario Kart World. If you're more of a Sonic fan, you're probably going to more prefer Sonic. But in my opinion, Mario Kart World doesn't really offer many characters I'm interested in. Yeah, sure, you got all your mainstays, and you got a lot of characters that are really fun to play as. They got rid of my boy Iggy. You got a lot of variety here as well. But the thing that does it for me with Mario Kart World, because Mario Mario Kart World does win in quantity. It does have a ton of characters compared to Sonic Racing Crossworlds, but what does it for me is that they have some of the most random selection of characters I have ever seen. I mean, who asked to play a sidestepper? Okay, now I will say this, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Mario Kart World's roster, I will give it this. It does have a lot of clothing options, something I wish Sonic Racing Crossworlds would have. There are a lot of different alts for some of the pre-existing characters on the roster, giving you a lot of variety to choose. So even if you do choose Mario, you have a lot of different Mario outfits to choose from, so it kind of works out in its favor. That being said though, I can't help but look at this roster and think, wow, there is so much missed potential. They could have added a lot of unique characters like Cappy or that fuck-ass caterpillar from Mario Wonder. That being said though, I think I do prefer Sonic Racing Crossworlds roster overall. Yeah, sure, it's not as much as Mario Kart Worlds, but Sonic Racing Crossworlds roster has a lot going on with it. It has every single character you could possibly want, as well as some new and old faces like Sage or the Deadly 6, or sorry, the Deadly 2. And also, I'm just a little bit biased. I'm a huge Metal Sonic and Miku fan, and you kind of won me over with the Crossworld aspect in the sense that there's also third-party characters. I mean, oh my god, I could play as Joker and Miku in this game? Oh. And I feel that's kind of the main difference here, okay? I'm not asking for Mario Kart World to suddenly do collabs and become the next Smash Brothers. And I mean, comparing them directly, Sonic Racing Crossworlds has the egg pawn, whereas Mario Kart World has like 20 egg pawns. I think Sonic Racing handles joke characters way better than Mario Kart World, and I think Mario Kart World needs to do a better job of adding actual like meaningful characters to the roster. So yes, I'm gonna give this to Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Also, I may be biased. The three main characters I play as is Metal Sonic, Sage, and Miku. I don't know if I just have a thing for clankers or what, but I just really like those three, and I like those three way better than the majority of the roster in Mario Kart World. Alright, now moving on to music. And if you thought character selection was very subjective, oh boy, this is very subjective. Now, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I definitely prefer Mario Kart World's OST compared to Sonic. I'm sorry, I've grown up with Mario longer than I have Sonic, and Mario Kart World has the advantage of featuring the entire Mario series and giving almost every single Mario song a remix, and almost all of them are very good. Even Mario Kart World's originals as well, like the main theme or Rainbow Road, are so amazing. Like, how can I not give credit to them? And of course, some of the remixes from past games as well, like Space Jump Galaxy from Mario Galaxy, Steam Gardens from Super Mario Odyssey. I could go on and on for hours about how good some of these remixes are, and I have to give props to some of the composers here.
Feature Cyanize back here again. I was on a video with Dolphin featuring 50 plus YouTubers ranking the music of Mario Kart World. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on the OST of Mario Kart World, it's a pretty good video. You guys should go check it out. Okay, back to the video. Bye.
Sonic Racing Crossworlds, however, I definitely do not want to discredit the soundtrack that it has. I mean, for Christ's sake, we have Miku original songs here. Like, oh my god, I'm in love. That being said, however, I feel like the soundtrack has a lot of highs and lows for me. I feel like it's kind of on and off, hit or miss for me. I feel like some of them resonate with me, while some others are kind of forgettable, admittedly. I will say Radical Highway and Kronos Island are freaking amazing. I am addicted to those. And don't even get me started on the pre-racing theme for Apotos. I think I'm in love. Oh, how convenient that I made it 5 categories to put you all on the edge of your seat trying to figure out which game that I think is definitely the better game. Spoiler alert, it's Sonic Racing Crossworlds, because in my opinion, I much prefer $70 on a good game than $80 on a mid game. Jokes aside, Mario Kart World kind of struggles in the sense that I feel like we've been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a lot over the years, and also it kind of sucks that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had a bunch of DLC not that long ago with 30 plus new tracks added to the game. As well as that, I feel like Mario Kart World just doesn't do enough new to justify its existence all too much. I know a lot of people were really wanting a new Mario Kart game, and I'm happy for those fans, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Mario Kart World doesn't really do much for me at all. And it also doesn't help that I'm kind of looking it down in a lens of, oh, I spent $80 on this game. The game better have a cow from Moo Moo Meadows come out of the screen and give me a fat slobbery kiss on my face. Whereas Sonic Racing Crossworlds, while I haven't played a a Sonic racing game previously in the past before, Sonic Racing Crossworlds just feels so unique and different, and I can't help but admit I had a way more fun time playing this game. It feels way more crazier and insane than Mario Kart has ever felt in the past few years. The character selection and gameplay is out of this world, and it has so much customization and depth to it, and it's just a game that I just want to keep playing. Even as of me recording this video, I want to get done with it as soon as possible just so I can get back to playing the game, because it is that addicting. Whereas Mario Kart World, I felt like I only played it because there wasn't really much new to play on my Nintendo Switch 2. But for Mario Kart World, I had to actively force myself to go back to play the game so I could get footage for this video. On top of that, they already have DLC and a whole roadmap out the get-go. And while normally I'm not really the biggest fan of that practice, I really do appreciate that they're already looking to support this game for the foreseeable future. Whereas Mario Kart World, it's been out for months and we still have no DLC announcement. And Mario Kart World, I feel like desperately needs the DLC. Hopefully it's not paid, but I feel like it just needs support. I feel like it just needs an update, not even something major, but just like balance changes, just anything really. If it weren't for YouTubers like Noir Heart featuring me in their 24-player tournament to revitalize this game for me, then I probably wouldn't have gone back to the game as much. After all is said and done, I genuinely do believe that Sonic Racing Crossworlds is the better racing game. But what do you guys think? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I'm always down to have a conversation down there. And I cannot wait to have this exact same discussion again when Kirby Air Riders comes out. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and I will see you all in another video. Bye-bye!